Hi guys! I have 10 of the craziest King's Gambit traps ever. You might only see them here, and the most insane one is number 8. Okay, let's rock and roll. Trap number 1. E4, E5. F4, King's Gambit. There are several popular responses for black. It can be D5, Queen to H4 check, or maybe Bishop to C5, and many more. If black plays Falkbeer Countergambit, the most aggressive response, we simply take the pawn. If queen captures back, develop the knight with tempo. Queen will usually go to E6. The idea? Pawn takes pawn. Yes! Discovered check! Please put pressure this pawn twice. So after E takes F4, it's a discovered check. Just play this crazy move. Your king may look very exposed. Okay, after black gives another check, just block with the pawn. Everything is under control. Besides, pawn is attacking the bishop. Pawn is also under threat, wherever the bishop retreats. Let's say bishop D6, protecting F4. What's your move? Okay, you win after bishop to B5 check. No matter what blocks the check, whether it's a bishop or a pawn, or even a knight, your move is the same. Rook to E1. Black's queen falls here. Bishop blocks. It doesn't matter at all. Rook takes bishop. Still, queen is lost. Knight can't take the rook because it's pinned. Hey bro, what if king moves here? For example, king to F8 or king to D8? Okay, wherever it goes, you still win. Let's say king to D8. Just keep attacking the queen. If queen takes the rook, we recapture with queen. Or if queen moves, wherever it goes, say queen F6. Yes, rook charges in and it's checkmate. And it's the same if the king moves to F8. The moves are similar to what we saw earlier. After queen moves, rook to E8. Mate! Let's move on! Trap number 2! What if pawn doesn't go to D5 and queen gives check instead? Okay, let's counterstrike. Queen has to go. Watch out, pawn is going to hit the pawn. And once again, it's threatening E4. Just keep it slow. If E takes F4, bishop recaptures. So simple. After D5 comes in. That's a pretty aggressive move. Please, don't take the pawn. That's a violation. How's your king doing, bro? Your pawn is pinned, guys. Just keep developing. At the same time, we're attacking the D5 pawn twice. So if pawn takes pawn, or maybe, pawn pushes forward and attacks the knight, your move is still the same, knight to D5. Queen has to move. And now C7 is in trouble too, with support from the bishop. A fork is coming on the next move. That's not good news for black. Or what if the bishop goes to E6 instead? Protecting the pawn. Be careful, guys. Don't get careless and take the pawn. That's exactly what they want. Of course, the bishop takes pawn back. Discovered check. And your rook is clearly not going to survive. If you have to sacrifice the knight, then play F5. Your knight is about to get eaten by the pawn. Okay, so you need to be careful here. Your best move is queen to E2. Then your pawn can simply take the pawn. This is much safer. Besides, we're only one move away from castling long. So after pawn takes, pawn recaptures, you can continue with knight to B5. Trying to eye C7. And the usual response, pawn will typically be pushed forward, controlling two sensitive light squares. Just castle queenside. If black copies your idea and prepares to castle queenside, let's activate the knight and get ready for battle in the middle game. Let's say black castles. Pause the video here. What's your move? Are you ready? Ready! Let's rock and roll! I guarantee your opponent will be 100% confused by this weird move. The idea here is simple. Queen takes the pawn, and it's check. After the knight blocks, obviously, queen takes knight, checkmate. Your queen is poisonous, bro! Black is going to regret it. After bishop takes the pawn, checkmate. Good job, my boy! So, no matter what black does, let's just take an example. Let's say, pawn attacks the bishop. A deflection move... Okay. Let's get brutal. Check. King checkmate. Monster bishop, thank you. Oh no. No! The queen! My queen! Beautiful checkmate. A very expensive attacking combination. The Boden's mate technique. Okay, let's move on to number 3. But first, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to subscribe and drop a comment below. Which trap do you think is the craziest and most brutal? And what if black accepts the king's gambit now? Okay, let's develop the light-squared bishop. If black's queen gives check right away, no problemo. King to f1, safe and sound. Safe? What do you mean, bro? Your king looks awkward and you can't castle anymore. Don't worry, bro. It's all good. Let's take a sip of coffee first and relax a little. The bishop will usually go to c5, haunting f2. A mate in one threat. Strike back. Your bishop is eyeing f4. So, bishop retreats, still creating pressure on the king side. Let's activate the knight and attack the queen. If the queen goes to g4, still protecting the f4 pawn. Let's play it beautifully. And check. Because after king takes bishop... Yes! Check! Black's queen is dead! We go back. What if, in this position, queen runs to another square, let's say h6, still keeping an eye on f4. Push the pawn. Remember, this pawn is pinned. What's your response as black? Let's say, black sees a small opening to launch an attack. Going after your king. Don't continue with king to f8. Black's queen is about to get a little rude here. Walking into your house without permission. Threatening your rook. Obviously, that's going to be very annoying and pretty uncomfortable. Pawn is also ready to take your pawn. So, I recommend continuing with king to f2. If pawn takes pawn, check, just take the pawn back. Discovered attack, so queen has to move. And unfortunately, the queen only has one square to run to. That's g4. We're about to catch a fresh fish! Hey bishop, do your job! Check. If king takes the bishop, then of course, knight to e5 check, and black's queen falls. Or even if king moves, rook comes in. Black's queen is dead. The queen has nowhere to run. Let's move on. Trap number 4. After pawn takes pawn. Besides bishop to c4, you can also respond with knight to f3. Top move, preventing an attack from black's queen. The main line is g5. Stay calm, just keep developing. Next move, castle. But wait, attacking the knight. Black's play looks very aggressive and scary. Please save the knight. We strike back with threats. The weak pawn on f7 is in trouble. g4 is also under threat of being lost. And black's best move is the queen flying in, giving check right away. Just continue with king to f1, because if the pawn blocks, it's very dangerous. Pawn takes pawn. Okay, no need to explain. Very dangerous. Just continue with king to f1. And after the natural move, the knight defends f7, and g4 is also covered. Just continue with pawn to d4, stopping the dark-squared bishop from getting active. At the same time, your bishop is ready to take that pawn. Most of the time, the pawn will chase the knight away. Don't be sad, just jump the knight to d3. Be careful of the pawn on f4. And if the pawn pushes forward, we push the pawn, attacking the queen. If the queen gives check, don't go to f2 because there will be another check. Okay, play king to e1. And if the queen gets bold and goes after your rook, what's your move? Nope. Don't continue with rook to f1. Black's queen will start tearing up your king side. Your pawns will get picked off one by one, and black's pawns have the potential to become dangerous passed pawns. So you should protect your rook. And whatever black plays, remember, no exceptions. Let's say, bishop to e6, or knight to f6, or even bishop to g7. Yes, black's queen is dead. For trap number 5, I have the King's Gambit Declined, classical variation. After d6, continue with c3. Preparing to push the pawn to d4. And if black responds with queen to e7, be careful, this is a sneaky move. Then, e takes f4, and the central e4 pawn is in a bit of trouble. Just stick to your plan. Bishop has to move. And if e takes d4, just capture back. No problems at all. Everything is safe. But it won't stay safe for long after the queen comes in, grabs the pawn, and gives check at the same time. Any suggestions, guys? What's our move? Okay. Continue with king to f2? Are you sure, my friend? Yep. Because then we simply take the bishop. And our pawn is safe, under very heavy protection. So after bishop moves away, even though it controls the dark square e1, your rook still can't be stopped from coming to e1. We kick the bishop away. Bishop retreats. Keep chasing the bishop. And after bishop settles on b6, just leave it alone for a moment and let it rest there. Just bring your bishop to a more active square and give check right away. This is the same idea as in the previous trap. If the check is blocked by a pawn, a knight, or even a bishop, continue with rook to e1. Black's queen is finished. She's pinned. And the exact same story applies if king moves to d8 or f8. That's right, rook e1. Queen looks pretty confused here. If queen captures, then it's queen takes queen. And if she moves away, destroy, mate. Let's move on. Trap number 6. After pawn takes pawn, continue with knight to f3. Pawn to g5. Then bishop to c4. If pawn to g4, you already know the answer. Knight to e5, putting pressure on f7. But what if black plays bishop to g7 first instead? The bishop controls e5. Welcome to the Philidor Gambit, attacking g5 pawn twice. Most of the time, black responds with pawn to g4. Knight is under fire. Yes, jump the knight to g5. Hey bro! Careful, your pawn is in trouble. So, knight will usually move to defend the f7 pawn. Let's just take control of the center. At the same time, your bishop is ready to strike the f5 pawn. After pawn to f6, where are you going to save your knight? Uh-oh. My knight is trapped. This doesn't look good, bro. But don't worry, there's always a way out. Let's smash that pawn. After pawn takes g5, capture the pawn back. Of course, the knight has to move. And where do you think this knight is going? Yeah, knight can go to f7 or back home. Let's take one example. Let's say it goes back home. Okay, let's collect the pawn. Here, most black players will continue with pawn to d5. Bishop is under attack. Queen is being harassed by the bishop. Let's continue with check. And after king moves away, it's time to grab the pawn. According to the engine evaluation, you're at +5 here. You're clearly winning by a huge margin. But wait, I have a slightly sneaky move. Just castle kingside, and then follow it up by grabbing the pawn. Bro! Yep, your bishop is gone. Okay, no worries. You can grab the pawn. Then take the queen, because this is also a discovered check. Or just finish the game right away. Double check and checkmate. Good job, queen. Thanks. Trap number 7. After pawn to g5, earlier we responded with bishop to c4. Here, we can also continue with pawn to h4. If pawn gets pushed, you can continue with knight to g5 or knight to e5. And if black decides to defend the pawn here, what's your move? Okay, just continue with... After pawn takes knight, queen to h5 check. Only move. Another check, and the queen is in trouble too. If knight blocks, just push the pawn. You'll soon regain the minor piece. So, after the king goes back home, protecting the queen, let's keep the checks coming. King has only one move. Don't take the rook! Keep the forcing moves going. Check. After king moves, another check. King moves, another check. If king goes to g7, then push the pawn to attack the king. After king to g6, then queen to f5. Or bishop. Checkmate. Okay, let's go back. Today's puzzle. What if king doesn't move here, but instead, queen blocks the check? Can you find the checkmate in 2 moves?
Drop your answer in the comments.
Thank you. Trap number 8. What if black pushes the pawn to defend the pawn? Alright, let's attack the pawn again. And after knight adds more protection to the pawn, welcome to the Fischer Defense. Just play bishop to c4. Next move, castle kingside. Black's most popular move here is bishop to g4, creating a pin. Just ignore it and continue with kingside castling. And usually, black will try to cause some trouble for your knight. Okay, let's play a tactical shot. Check. If king takes the bishop, another check. If queen takes the knight, this is a blunder. Don't worry, the queen isn't going anywhere, because we're up a tempo. First, we take the queen, with a discovered check. King goes back. Then we grab the bishop. Enjoy the game. You win. We go back. What if king goes back home here? Just take the bishop. And after knight captures the pawn, don't worry about the rook. Just take the pawn. What's your move as black? Okay, whatever black chooses, whether it's pawn takes pawn, or even if knight smashes the rook, it doesn't matter at all. There's absolutely no problem. Just finish the game with to rook. Check, also roasting the queen. So king has to take. Feel free to continue from this position. Check, and the queen falls. After king moves, knight takes queen. Then queen takes pawn. The rook is going to be gone as well. You win. Trap number 9. After pawn takes f, knight jumps out. Pawn to g5, the main line. Then pawn to h4. If black plays pawn to f6, you already know what to play. Or if pawn takes pawn, play pawn to d4, then bishop takes pawn. And that h4 pawn isn't going anywhere. You can grab it whenever you like. Or if black plays pawn to h6, just take on g5. Because if pawn captures back, black's rook is finished. And if pawn gets pushed, we'll save the knight later. Counterattack. Queen is also staring at g4. The most popular move is knight to f6. Just take the pawn. If knight takes knight, simply recapture with the queen. Nice and simple. Or, if black decides to hold on to the extra pawn by striking at e4, continue by chasing the knight away. Let's say the knight jumps into your room. Just splash some water on it. It'll leave eventually. Okay, the rook is under attack. And there's also the threat of queen to e7 check. Let's ignore it and grab the pawn. And if queen really does give check, just block. After knight takes the rook, yes, black is up a rook, but after bishop to g5, attacking the queen, trust me, Team Black is losing. If a pawn comes in to defend the queen, that's a blunder. Take it with the knight, check. And of course, you're about to win Black's queen. Look at that bishop. It's unstoppable. All you need to do is jump the knight. Black's queen is about to collapse. But what if the queen escapes with tempo and gives check? Okay, don't resign. Just push the pawn. Queen has to move. And after queen tears apart your queen side... Okay, we're a mess. The king side is wrecked. The queen side is falling apart. I'm confused too, bro. And on top of that, the rook is under attack. Let's just keep playing. Knight jumps in, check. And no matter where the king goes, your knight looks like a pretty good dancer. A discovered check. King goes back. And of course, knight takes c7. Smothered checkmate. Naturally, the bishop has to block the check. Just take it. King moves. Continue with knight to d2. Everything is good now. Yeah, it still looks scary though. Let's say a pawn attacks the knight. Your bishop is still under attack from the king. What's your move? Okay, counterstrike. Queen is almost trapped. So no matter what the queen does, even if queen takes rook, or goes to its only square, queen to b5. Smothered checkmate, a very deadly counterattack. Okay, bro. We've arrived at the final trap. I have a game from the legendary chess player Gioacchino Greco, played back in 1560. Okay, standard King's Gambit accepted moves so far, so good. After knight to e5, attacking f7, Black continues with queen to h4, check. King moves. In the previous trap, the knight jumped to h6, defending the pawn. Here, Black responds with knight to f6. Bishop takes pawn check. King moves. Continue with pawn to d4. And then comes knight takes e4. A serious threat on f2. Mate is in the air. White plays queen to e2, covering f2. Knight attacks both the queen and the king. Of course pawn takes knight. Black gains an advantage and queen grabs the rook. King moves. Pawn takes pawn, check. King recaptures. Actually, Black is winning here. But unfortunately, Black doesn't find the best move. Bishop to e7. Maybe the queen was still hungry. Apparently, a rook wasn't enough. Time for dessert. Poison bishop, bro! After knight gives check, Black resigns. Because if the game continues, let's say pawn takes knight, then queen flies to e8. Checkmate! Okay guys, those were 10 amazing traps in the King's Gambit. I hope you enjoyed them, and I hope they were useful. Please continue supporting this channel. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video if you found it helpful. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.